In the lead up to 3.13, Grinding Gear Games has just announced that Heist will be going core as of this league. We're going to talk about the goods, the bads, and the uglies. Let's get into it. Welcome, it's your friendly neighborhood Badger here, and I am back with another video on Heist going core. Now, to say that this has been a controversial piece of news that has cropped up in the past, 12, 14 hours or something like that would be an understatement, but we're going to talk through it today. Everything that we've chatted about on stream, I'm also recording this live on stream, so chat over on the right-hand side over there, say hi. But let's jump right into it. So Heist is going core. Is it good or is it bad? So we have the proof right here. Basically, there was a Reddit post someone posted about any news of Heist going core. And the comment here by the community team Reddit account says, "We are expecting Heist to become core Path of Exile content, but we recommend waiting until the 3.13 announcement on January 7th to find out the relatively low number of changes it will receive for its core implementation." Now, right before we move on here, there's just a couple of things that I do want to mention here. Most of the opinions shared in this video are going to be of my own and some in chat and everything like that as well, but mostly my own. This video is of my own views, so take that as a grain of salt. But also this news right here, we do have to remember that this news is before we know anything about what they say those relatively low number of changes Heist will be receiving is. We don't know what they're changing with Heist. So before we make any big judgments, let's wait until we know that information, then make our informed decisions then. So I'd like to know everything you have, all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. But you can only comment if you're subscribed. It's this new thing that YouTube has. You can only comment if you're subscribed. So I'm not sure if you saw that. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Let's move on. The bad. We're going to start with the bad first. Heist, at best, was a poor implementation of a rough around the edges league. So this is my opinion, and a widely shared opinion. Heist was a very poorly implemented league. There were terrible bugs, and everything like that. Most of them are fixed, but there are still quite a few problems with this league. It's not polished. It really isn't. Again, we don't know if that's going to be fully polished by the end of, when it is implemented. We don't know, but yeah. Heist made mapping feel like Path of Exile standard, right? Heist made mapping just not feel as profitable, and that will be a recurring theme that you'll see here. Heist felt like it was the best way that you could get your character geared. The next one is doors. There were a lot of doors in Heist, and as we all know, doors are the bane of a Path of Exile player's experience, and there's nothing more I really need to say there. Heist also gives everything in the game and way too much of it. This was generally shared in my Twitch chat, as people will say here as well. It really just gave a lot of loot, and it still gives a ton of loot. The fractured meta as well, in my opinion, was cancerous to endgame content and endgame currency grind. That being said, let me say something else here as well. Every single league will have some form of broken currency gain. Every league has it, so this line is a little bit moot, but I just wanted to put it in there as well because I really hated the meta about fractured blueprints. Rogue leveling sucks. We're gonna have to re-level our rogues. It was just terrible. So in the new league, as far as we know, I don't think that's going to be changed, but we're probably going to have to re-level our rogues, which really sucks. It invalidates other ways of getting to 100 in races. But right now, if nothing is changed, it is the best way to get to level 100 in races. Just hands down. It's just the best way. Tunnels and repository are broken in XP. It's kind of crazy. I expect it's going to be nerfed, but yeah. I do also want to make one more point on more doors. There were a lot of doors, and I think on my last suggestion about doors, I did miss a couple of those doors. So I'm just going to talk about doors right now again. There are a lot of doors. Get the doors out of there. Doors. Re-leveling rogues is a bummer. Oh, looks like I already talked about that one. And rogue markers are just another form of Perandus coins. It's just clutter. You could probably get rid of rogue markers and do it in an interesting way. We're going to talk about that in the last part of this video here. But talk about the good. The good. This is the biggest controversial point! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. You will not have to interact with Heist ever. it is not mandatory content. It is not thrown in your face. You're not even going to, potentially, you're not even going to be seeing it in maps like you see, you know, a breach or an abyss or anything like that. You're just probably going to, you know, pick up rogue markers that you can take off your filter if you never want to interact with it. You just do not have to interact with it. Another good thing is alternate quality gems, new bases, replica uniques. These all add to build diversity, which is 100% a good thing. Build diversity in Path of Exile is why Path of Exile is the way it is, and more of that is always, always, always good. It's my job and other content creators' job to bring that content to you in a way that's like, hey, here's a really, really interesting way that you can build a build. I love doing that. I think it's awesome, and you should probably think it's awesome as well. If you don't think it's awesome, let me know in the comments below. Frost Auto Scouts. Thank me later. You're not gonna really enjoy Spectres without Frost Auto Scouts. This one's a little bit memey. Obviously, there's other good Spectres, but Frost Auto Scouts are super fun and super awesome. I think they're a really, really cool Spectre, so I included that one there. The other good thing, which is not gameplay related, but there was really great writing and character building in the in all the rogues and everything like that in the Rogue Harbor. It was really, really great to see all of the effort that they put in there. There was so much time and energy put into it, and it did pay off. Look, it's a little bit rough around the edges. Again, not everything was implemented, and some stuff was brought into the game after the fact of it actually being into the game, like the couple of boss fights and a couple of other dialogue options and everything like that. It is really great while leveling. Heist is really good for just, you know, getting good rare bases, gearing your character, good for hardcore to kind of cap your resistances before going into Act 6 or beating Katava for the second time. And the last thing is Vindiri is a very fun mechanic. The chance of doubling loot that you open from chests. I'm just going to go right out there and say it. There isn't a single person on the face of this earth that doesn't like a good Vindiri game. So that's all I have to say about the good. So those are the two, you know, the two ends of the scale there. But what about the middle of the scale? What about the controversial sides of things? You know, some people will say they're good, some people will say they're bad, which I am dubbing the ugly. Well, I actually stole that from someone in chat. Don't tell my chat. The currency, leveling is quicker. So it's kind of something I talked about in the good and a little bit in the bad as well. Leveling is quicker for races and other stuff like that. That might actually be a not great thing. It might not be a really good thing, but it is also great for people who don't have a lot of time. Leveling can be quicker in the later stages to get your character juiced up, shall I say. The currency market will forever be changed. Exalts mainly from Exalt Trinket and everything like that. There's going to be a change in the way of Exalts. We're probably never going to see them the way that we used to see them with like 120, 150 chaos per Exalt in trade leagues. It's just probably not going to stay like that. It's slow. Now, I put this one here because it is actually contentious. Some people like slower content to take your time and really kind of just enjoy the game. Some people enjoy playing the game like that. So I'm actually just putting that in the ugly section. It is slow, especially on that first. Someone likened it to kind of like mall shopping or going through a shopping center and just looking in the windows before you actually get to the end and then rush your way out, right? It is slow in that regard. There is a bleep ton of loot, I would like to say. There is a lot of loot that comes out of it. I did put this in the bad, I did put this in the good as well, so it's in here as well. You know, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. This is a big one. Feeling pressured in solo self-found to do heist content is a big thing. If you feel pressured when you're playing solo self-found because it's the best way to get gear, but you don't enjoy heist, your solo self-found experience actually does get diminished. Again, you can just avoid it, but then there's always that lingering thing in the back of your head, like, I could just spend less time and grind out the gear that I want. Heist, right? The other one is there's a very big time investment for currency output. But I did put at the end here, then again, isn't that just PoE in a nutshell? Yes, it kind of is. It's just, you know, leveling your rogues, getting the right rogue gear, all that kind of stuff. It's the same thing like progressing your Atlas, same thing like gearing your character up. It's, you know, it's same thing like farming splinters, all of that kind of stuff, right? It's what Path of Exile. There are more easy ways to rip. Some people, hardcore players, don't enjoy this. Some hardcore players do enjoy it. People who like watching hardcore players do enjoy this. Rip clips are golden. And I'm sure that Gamer for Life will enjoy this change. As a result, as well, the last point here, as a result, Atlas boss uniques such as Shaper and Elder were often more expensive than usual. Often more expensive. What that does mean, you know, it's harder to buy maybe that, you know, the Eternity Shroud that you want for your really cool conversion build, or you know, something else like that, getting a Dying Sun. Not going to be too much more expensive, but they ended up being a little bit more expensive, right? That's basically it. That's the good, the bad, the ugly. Now it's time for me to just talk a little bit about my opinion. So, I did talk a little bit at the start about how I thought the implementation was going to go, or how I thought, you know, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. I did see on Reddit well, we can actually jump and have a look back here. Negative 188 points at the time of me actually snapshotting this comment from the community team. That's a lot of dislikes. That is a really big lot of dislikes there. And I think it's my opinion. I think that's not warranted, because we don't know exactly how it's going to be implemented, and also the fact that you can just, you know, ignore the league mechanic. You don't need to play the league mechanic if you don't enjoy it. That being said, there is still that lingering thing, depending on how it is implemented, there is still that lingering part in the back of your head. If it's really implemented very well into the game, and it's really profitable, if you don't like doing Heist, it's going to feel bad, especially if you like pushing the ladder, or if you like pushing big tons of currency, or competing with your friends. It's going to feel bad doing content you don't want to do. Agreed. I very much see that. But on the flip side, for someone like me, it is very easy to go, look, you know, it might be the best way to make currency. I don't enjoy Heist. That's another thing. I hate Heist. I don't think it's a good mechanic. I really dislike the mechanic itself. I don't think I'll be playing much of it from this point onwards. I know some people are some streamers are even thinking of completely removing markers and contracts from their loot filter next season, which is going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, those are kind of my ramble thoughts there about it all. I'm for it being implemented because there was a lot of effort put into it, and to me, there's no downsides to it actually being implemented. No actual downsides on my personal way of playing the game. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinions. I really, really, really would. But try to consolidate them. I want to hear good opinions rather than just like, Heists suck, piece of shit. All right, give me some good stuff. And lastly, I want to finish up with ideas for smooth implementation. We talked a little bit on stream about this, but there's just a couple of points here. The first one that we talked about, we had a bit of a good discussion about this. Rogues randomly found in maps, say for example the 13 or so rogues that you have, like say you find a Tibbs in a map, right? And you click on them and they're like, hey, I can help you in this grand heist. They show you a grand heist that they have, and they're like, do you want me to help you with this grand heist? And you're like, either yes, you can help me, you can go there, or no, I'm going to dismiss you, I don't want you in this grand heist. They disappear, and you find Vindiri in, you know, a few maps down the track, and you're like, whoa, Vindiri, heck yes, I love double loot. Click on him, yes, I want you in my map, in my grand heist, there you go. You build up your grand heist. Once you've filled all the slots, you run your grand heist. What that does, it eliminates normal heists, eliminates contracts, eliminates rogue markers. Keeps the core gameplay loop of the actual league itself. I think that would be a smoother implementation, and it would kind of feel like Masters, right? Then there is Park's idea. I just heard this from chat. Basically, you spawn in the reward room and just fight your way out. It takes away the slow aspect of Heist, really. Like, takes away the very slow aspect of Heist. That also takes away the what am I trying to say? That takes away the tunnels and repository exploit for XP as well. Definitely. And the third one, nerf fracturing blueprints and tunnels repository. Just nerf that. There's basically, you know, doing two things in one. Some people would argue against the nerfing of fracturing blueprints there. Like I get that. But yeah. And lastly, doors. Get rid of doors. Get the doors out of here. We don't like doors. Chris Wilson, we do not like doors. Please listen to me. We don't like doors. If there's doors in 3.13, I'll be knocking at your door, mister. Okay? And thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Just a little plug at the end here. I do stream most days at twitch.tv/thisisbadgergaming. There's a link down below. Hit that subscribe button. Remember, you cannot actually comment on this video unless you're subscribed. It's a crazy new thing that YouTube's doing, but like, yeah. Lastly as well, I have put in the description a link to my Instagram. I just started up an Instagram, so I have very few followers at the moment, but if you like to peruse photos of certain badges, then Instagram's a great place to do that. I'm going to be posting semi-regularly and everything like that on there and doing some pretty wacky stuff. You get a little bit more of an insight to the personal life of Badger. So I'll see you all over there on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Badger, out.